Hallsville residents are upset after the town's police chief resigned after a controversial dog bite complaint. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jem Reek.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. Gabe Edwards resigned from his position on October 11th, a day after a Board of Aldermen meeting discussed the complaint. KOMu 8's Lee Yang spent the day in Hallsville trying to sort out what happened.
This is a complicated story. I spent the day trying to contact everyone involved with the complaint story. And as the day went on, I discovered more and more information. It all started with a dog bite.
The dog kind of frightened my mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law kind of went, "Whoa, buddy, it's okay." And he ended up biting her in the leg right here.
Ashley Smith's mother-in-law was bit by a neighbor's dog on October 4th. Police Chief Gabe Edwards responded to the report and notified Margaret Brookshire, the dog's owner, about the city's ordinance regarding dog bites. It says any dog that attacks a person shall be quarantined either by the animal control officer or a vet for 10 days. If the dog was impounded through the city, Brookshire would pay $3 a day, but if it was impounded by a vet, she would cover the cost herself. She ended up paying nearly $300 and was upset the city didn't help out. However, Hallsville does not have an animal control or city pound, so Edwards used the "or" part of the ordinance to take the animal to a vet. Mayor Mickey Nichols says the city ended up paying Brookshire's vet bills, which upset the Smith family even more.
Our city attorney said that this situation was not handled right either. He didn't feel that we should burden her with an unneeded debt.
This woman did not have to comply with the law, that the city basically told her that it's okay if you come up here crying to us, that we're just going to give in to what you want instead of what the laws are written.
Many speculated the police chief was fired because of the dog bite complaint. I asked Mayor Nichols if the city asked Edwards to resign. He said,
"All I'm going to say on the chief is he gave us his resignation."
Shortly after the Board of Aldermen meeting, officials had a closed meeting where, according to the minutes, they made a motion to offer Chief Gabe Edwards the option of resigning his position as chief of police for the city of Hallsville or be terminated. It was a unanimous decision in favor of the motion. After reading the minutes to Nichols and asking him again if the city asked Edwards to resign, he said,
"I'm not going to comment on that."
Ashley Smith said she's upset Edwards has to leave and that Brookshire faces no consequences.
We are kind of angry that this whole situation has brought out the reason, like, for him leaving his job.
The Hallsville Board of Aldermen will have a meeting on November 12th to discuss more on this issue.
Columbia police responded to a shots fired call tonight on Sexton Road. At the scene, officers found one house had been hit several times. One person was in the house at the time but was not hurt.
Columbia's new rave emergency alert system has only been in service for a few weeks, but there's already questions about its effectiveness. Rave Emergency Alerts, an extension of Smart 911, was installed to better alert residents of emergency situations in Boone County. But Gail Blumenkamp with the Boone County Fire Department believes the system still needs work. He told KOMu 8, quote, "The service is really only effective within the city of Columbia. It doesn't really affect the outer parts of Boone County." But Boone County Emergency Management's deputy director says the system is still more advanced than the one it replaced.
This replaces a legacy system that we had been using, Nixle, and my understanding is that Nixle was very well received within the community. It does offer us a bit more services. It's a bit more robust in what it is able to offer, and it's included in the Smart 911 suite.
Rave works through Smart 911, which provides citizens personal information to emergency responders to help those responders best prepare for the emergency, but it only provides personal information when that person calls 911.
If you have your things stolen in Columbia, there isn't a lot stopping the thief from reselling your stuff at a pawn shop or secondhand store. The city wants to change that. KOMu 8's Madeline Odell is live in Columbia to tell us about the city's plan.
I'm live outside of Tiger Pawn, one of the many pawn shops and resale stores here in Columbia that has to deal with the problem of fencing every day. Fencing is the resale of stolen goods from pawn shops and other businesses. Right now, there are no local laws governing these stores, meaning that the only regulation comes from the state level. But that soon could change.
Joe Swartz, an employee at Tiger Pawn, says sometimes he can spot people who are trying to pawn stolen items.
I've had people come in before with a laptop and they just didn't know very much about it at all.
But other times, things can slip through the cracks.
The criminals that do this sort of thing have done it so many times that they're just so used to it that they don't have any kind of reaction that we can sense. Honestly, I don't believe there is anything that we can really do to try to stop it.
Now, a group headed by Ward 2 councilperson Michael Trapp is trying to change pawn shop ordinances to help police catch the criminals.
We have really worked hard to engage people who will be impacted by the ordinance so that we have as minimal impact on business as possible while still protecting us all from theft.
Trapp says the ordinance would require pawn shops and resale shops to keep a photo or digital record of cash transactions and implement a 7-day wait period.
Right now you can steal someone's gold jewelry and pawn it on Monday and they'll melt it down on Tuesday, and there's no chance for people to identify that their goods were stolen and contact the police and have them get into the record.
Now the group will send a draft of the ordinance to City Council. Trapp says he hopes to see a working ordinance in place by spring of next year. Reporting live in Columbia, Madeline Odell, KOMu 8 News.
The City of Columbia is breaking one of its own ordinances with its new utility billing system. Residents have been trying to figure out the new system for a month now. The most recent round of utility bills are charging customers for either 20 or 40 days of service. Uneven billing cycles violate a city ordinance that calls for a reasonable and predictable utility bill during a 30-day period. As utilities were measured over a 40-day span, many users could have been pushed into a higher bracket than normal. The city decided to give customers refunds. The assistant director for utilities said refunds should be issued in the next few months, but he did not give a specific date.
Improvements are coming to Jefferson City. The Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization presented its pedestrian and bicycle plan at an open house today. Improvements will include bicycle lanes, crosswalks, and bus shelters. One official says the city isn't far from reaching its goals.
I think we have a lot of the pieces already there. We're just missing that last 2%. We're almost there. It's just that last step we need before we'll have a more unified system throughout the city and hopefully within the region within a couple of years.
The organization will present the pedestrian and bicycle plan to its board of directors next week. It's been one of the coolest days we've seen in a while here in mid-Missouri, but warmer weather is still on the way for the weekend, so let's check in with Kenton for a look at our forecast.
Brittany, thank you very much. Yeah, cool one indeed. We started off in the upper 30s across much of mid-Missouri, and you can see our high temperatures here just reaching right around the 60-degree mark. Some of us right around 61, 62. And for the rest of our night, we're going to continue to cool down only into the 40s, though. We're not looking like 30s by sunrise tomorrow morning, actually just right into the middle 40s there. Otherwise, as we look at Friday night fever, it is definitely going to be a warmer night there as well. 64, really feeling nice out there with a bit of cloud cover, of course. We're actually looking at mostly cloudy skies all throughout the day tomorrow, and even that continuing into the overnight hours, but should be dry, not expecting any rain there. Otherwise, looking ahead at the weekend, we're at 81 on Saturday. Big warm up ahead, 84 by Sunday, and we're even warmer to start next week. But as you look here, it is going to be breezy on Saturday, gusts up to about 25 miles an hour. The full forecast, including some slight rain chances ahead, it's all coming up after the break.
Kenton, thanks. Also after the break, a Target 8 fact check of Jason Kander's attack ads against Senator Roy Blunt.
And later in the newscast, find out how the suspected New York and New Jersey bomber pleaded today.
I met my wife, Erin, working at the Supreme Court. We came back home because we wanted to raise our kids in a place where values still matter. I'm Josh Hawley, and I'll fight for Missouri's values as Attorney General. I'll be independent, stand up to both parties. I'll clean up corruption in Jefferson City and defend our businesses and farms. I'm not a politician. I've never even run for office before. But I am a tough lawyer, and I'll fight for Missouri every day.
Josh Hawley, Attorney General.
Stay tuned for a special announcement from Capital Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Jefferson City. Chrysler headquarters have added to vehicle offers on the Capital Chrysler inventory. See discounts up to 27% off MSRP. That's just shy of $17,000 off trucks. Get nearly one-third off select new vehicles by simply going to Capital Chrysler. These offers are subject to end without notice. Hurry while they're still available. Capital Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Chris Koster supports Obamacare. Chris Koster wants to expand Obamacare by billions here in Missouri. Career politician Chris Koster. Missouri Obamacare expansion we can't afford.
Obamacare expansion is not only ruining health care and hurting businesses like this, it's threatening to bankrupt states like Colorado and Illinois. I'm Eric Greitens. As your governor, I'll grow jobs, not Obamacare.
Never be surprised by the weather. Download the free KOMu 8 weather app today. Brought to you by Central Bank of Boone County.
The November election is less than a month away. As for the U.S. Senate rates, the candidates have taken off the gloves.
With a Target 8 fact check, KOMu 8's Lauren Donovan took a look at an ad paid for by Democrat Jason Kander. It's against incumbent Republican Senator Roy Blunt.
Kander hits extremely close to home for Blunt, attacking his family, his home, and integrity. I delved deeper and did some research, and here's what I found. Here in Missouri, the race for a coveted U.S. Senate seat is almost over. One attack ad put out by Democratic challenger Jason Kander hit incumbent Republican Roy Blunt close to home.
He lives in a $1.6 million D.C. mansion.
But what does that mean for a place like Columbia?
Very comparable homes are 3 times more expensive than Washington, D.C.
According to Zillow, this Columbia home is priced at just over $500,000. But in the D.C. market, that's going to look a lot more like the size and scale of this home.
These are not people who are living significantly beyond their means. They're just normal, hardworking people in the Columbia community.
Another attack moved from Blunt's residence to the people that fill it.
His wife and 3 of his children are all lobbyists.
Andrew Blunt, who currently runs his father's re-election campaign, and his sister Amy are both registered as active lobbyists in the state of Missouri. Matt Blunt served as a one-term governor of the Show Me State, but now is a president of a group that lobbies for auto giants like GMC and Ford in Washington, D.C. Senator Blunt's second wife is also a major lobbyist for Kraft Heinz. So yes, all of his children, except for the youngest, who is nowhere near college age yet, are lobbyists. The extent, though, at which their business comes into conflict is still up for debate. Does Blunt use his power to elevate himself in other ways?
Senator Blunt voted to raise his own pay 12 times.
We reached out to local Republican officials and the Blunt campaign on multiple occasions for comment on this supposed pay raise vote. They provided no comment on the issue. However, the Missouri Democratic Party published an in-depth report. This report made connections with evidence of where Blunt voted in favor or against measures that would have positively impacted his pay grade. The salary for a U.S. Senator right now is $174,000 annually. It is the same amount now as when Blunt first secured the seat in 2008. And if you're wanting to take a look at the evidence we collected, visit our website, KOMu.com, where you'll find more on each of the Blunt children and more on what constitutes a $1 million mansion.
The Target 8 team is fact-checking ads all the way up to the November election, so we'll check on many candidates in different races. You can see this fact check as well as others on our website, KOMu.com, under the Target 8 tab.
Coming up after weather, the accused New York, New Jersey bomber offers a plea.
And a Baltimore police officer is shot, but who shot him might surprise you.
For the first time in 100 years, the National Rifle Association and Missouri Farm Bureau endorse a Missouri Democrat, Chris Koster, for governor. Koster's defended our Second Amendment rights and led the fight to keep the EPA off our land. Koster's a fiscal conservative who will invest in outstate roads and rural schools while balancing our budget. His values are our values. Koster for governor.
Farm Power Lawn and Leisure has been serving mid-Missouri the very best in sales and service of Kubota tractors, mowers, and UTVs. We've offered the full line of Kubota commercial and consumer products since 1976. Our technicians are factory certified, and our sales staff is dedicated to providing the best in Kubota parts and equipment. We'll even provide pickup and delivery. Farm Power Lawn and Leisure, 1702 East Business Loop 70. Check us out at fplal.com.
I'm Roy Blunt.
I was the first person in my family to graduate from college, and my first job teaching history was at this high school. My grandfather had been the janitor here. That's the promise of America. Jason Kander and I have fundamentally different views on keeping that promise alive. He wants to expand Obamacare, give amnesty to illegal immigrants, and raise energy taxes. The Clinton-Kander agenda will continue to take us on the wrong track. I'm Roy Blunt, and I approve this message.
The First Alert Weather Cam is brought to you by your Heart of Missouri Chevy dealers.
Welcome back to KOMu 8 News at 10 o'clock. Here is a time lapse from our day today. It was a cool morning. Highs or lows in the upper 30s. Eventually, high temperatures are reaching right around that 60-degree mark. We had increasing cloud, though, in our afternoon, as was expected. And we are now mostly cloudy across mid-Missouri, and we're going to be for at least the rest of Friday and into our day on Saturday as well. But if we look at take a look at our temperature trends, you're going to notice a big change from especially where we were this morning in those 30s. Our average this time of the year is right around 67. We're at 68 on Friday, up to 81 on Saturday, 84 on Sunday, and if you can believe it, we're in the middle to possibly upper 80s by Monday as we start another work and school week, but then we have a cooling trend through the rest of next week, so it looks like that Monday will likely be the highest temperature we are in the next 8 days, and possibly the highest we are here for the rest of the year. Otherwise, looking at our temperature trends, you can see it is still cooler in St. Louis than it was 24 hours ago. Of course, those cooler temperatures were still making their way through at that point, but 2 degrees cooler in St. Louis, 3 degrees warmer over in Kansas City, and 14 degrees warmer in North Platte. Again, just signifying that warmer temperature trend rolling into our region. Still 52, though, in St. Louis at this hour, and you can see it is still a bit cooler up over towards the Great Lakes region. Those temperatures down into the 40s, even some 30s, and there's a lot of high pressure over there, which is stable atmosphere, which is why they have a lot of sunshine, but that's starting to move off towards the east. As that happens, we're starting to see more cloud cover roll in, and even just a brief shower here as well. No rain here for mid-Missouri, really not expecting much, but as we head towards sunrise, some of our southern viewing area could have just a brief shower here tomorrow morning. That's mainly going to be for Morgan, Camden, Miller, and Marys County there for southern mid-Missouri. Otherwise, looking at our weathercast hour by hour, we can track all this cloud cover rolling in by 9 a.m. tomorrow. Again, most of our rain will stay off to the south and mostly south of that I-44 corridor. As we head towards 3 p.m., maybe some peaks of sunshine every now and then. Areas that do see more sunshine, of course, will be a little bit warmer. On average, high temperatures are expected to be in the middle and upper 60s, but if you see more sunshine, could get into those 70s, those lower 70s possibly. Otherwise, by 9 p.m., if you have any outdoor activities here tomorrow, whether it's football, maybe a concert, we're looking at dry conditions, just some passing clouds. Temperatures should be in the 60s there throughout the night. And looking at the rest of our start of the weekend here by 9 a.m. on Saturday, quite a bit of cloud cover, expecting a few more peaks of sunshine, though, by the end of our afternoon. And again, it's going to be that warming trend, certainly, throughout the weekend. Otherwise, overnight, our lows right around 45. Southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow, we're looking right around that 70-degree mark there, 68 for most of us. Southeast winds here 5 to 10 miles an hour. Again, that spot shower is possible down south. And we're not worried about the wind on Friday, but on Saturday, it's going to be breezy. Gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. It will be warm, though, 84 on Sunday, 86 on Monday with more sunshine to start next week as well. And then as we head towards the middle of the next week, another system's likely going to roll through, cool us down a bit. At this point, really not looking like much rain with this system that's going to be rolling through. It looks fairly dry and just changing those temperatures, but we'll keep you updated on that as it moves a little closer. 68, though, by next Thursday.
86 next Monday.
I know, big changes here in mid-Missouri.
All right, Kenton, thanks. Coming up, the New York, New Jersey accused bomber says he didn't do it. That's coming up, but first your lottery numbers. Good luck.
Coming up tomorrow on KOMu 8 News Today.
A meeting of the minds as those who serve in the Columbia area get to be served. Plus, 200 coaches and nearly 1,000 athletes are coming to the capital city, and look at what's in store for them.
After a cool Thursday morning, warmer air is on the way. We'll have a look at your weekend forecast.
Live coverage of local news and weather to get you ready before you head out the door. KOMu 8 News Today, starting at 4:30 a.m. Coverage you can count on.
Senate candidate Jason Kander
over and over supporting the status quo liberal agenda. Kander voted to allow Missouri tax dollars for illegal immigrants. He voted repeatedly in support of Obamacare, which has caused skyrocketing medical costs. And Kander, national co-chair supporting Hillary Clinton, a carbon copy of her status quo agenda. Jason Kander, another liberal copycat. No agenda for change. Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Why is this guy hanging out in Missouri? He wants to crush his competition and change our Constitution. He says he's doing it for the kids, but we've seen it before. Stop this latest boondoggle before it happens. We know how easily politicians turn promises into lies. Vote no on Amendment 3. It's just another big tobacco scheme.
The financial news is brought to you by Downtown Appliance Home Center, providing appliances and personal service to Mid-Missouri for over 50 years.
So your family has gone from 2 to 4, and your car needs a major upgrade. What do? You go to Joe Mawkins Ford, because you can get the 2017 Ford Escape or Fusion for just $299 a month with 0 down and financing as low as 2.9% for 84 months. From legendary low prices, unmatched selection to a history that goes back generations. Mawkins knows Ford. Your #1 volume Ford dealer, Columbia, Jefferson City, and JoeMawkinsFord.com.
This is our family business, and we work hard. Roy Blunt's wife and 3 of his children have a family business, too. They're all lobbyists, all of them. In fact, his wife lobbied so big corporations get tax breaks you and I could never get. And guess who championed the bill? Roy Blunt. Why is he taking care of his family business and not ours?
I'm Jason Kander, and I approve this message because we won't change Washington until we change the people we send there.
Here's what's happening right now. Search and rescue teams are still out in North Carolina tonight as the floodwater levels crest in some areas. North Carolina is still in a state of emergency as the threat of more flooding is expected to peak soon. Thousands of homes have already been damaged and the death toll is up to 22 people. Some communities are underwater and losing more ground by the hour.
The man accused of injuring more than 30 people in the New York and New Jersey bombings last month pleaded not guilty today. Ahmad Ramidi appeared in court by video from his hospital bed. He's accused of setting off a pipe bomb in Seaside, New Jersey. He's charged with 5 counts of attempted murder of a police officer and other weapons charges. He also faces federal charges in connection with the New York bombings.
A Baltimore officer was shot last night, but authorities say the bullet was not from a suspect. The officer actually shot himself accidentally. Police say the wounded officer and another detective pulled over a vehicle believed to be connected to a carjacking. At least one suspect opened fire when the two approached.
The rest of it's really based on physical evidence. So the projectile that struck the officer is in the car. You can see that his door never opens before. Again, in the City Watch camera, his door doesn't open. The window is up. It's not shattered. So on and so forth, and that based on our analysis of the officer's weapon, that he had one less round than he should have had.
Police say they are talking to persons of interest, but say the carjacking suspects remain at large.
Max Scherzer on the mound tonight for the Nationals. I know there were a lot of Ks. We've got playoff highlights coming up next.
I'm Stephen Weber. In the legislature, or thousands of miles from home, I've always remembered who I serve. But Caleb Rowden's forgotten.
Rowden voted to cut over $800 million from local schools and universities like Mizzou. Rowden's cuts would force Mizzou to raise tuition up to 16%, hurting middle-class families, all to pay for tax breaks for millionaire campaign donors.
That's wrong. Mid-Missouri deserves a state senator that will only serve you.
If you don't see any signs of foundation problems, sloping floors, gaps around windows or doors, cracks or leaks, then you don't need to listen. You might as well go learn a new skill. If you do notice any of these warning signs, call Ramjack to ask about a free site evaluation. Every day you wait, the more damage is done. Ramjack, making things right. A division of Gibbs Company.
Who is Jason Kander? He's a Jefferson City politician busted for handing out pay raises without proper documentation. Kander's a state bureaucrat who judges criticize for inadequate work that could mislead voters. He's a guy who actually called Hillary Clinton one of the greatest presidential candidates since George Washington. Who is Jason Kander? Just another liberal politician. Heartland Resurgence is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Closed captioning of KOMu 8 News is brought to you by Jenny Craig. Weight loss results you can count on.
A 13-year Army veteran who just happened to marry his high school sweetheart. Meet Matt Brammer, being the best sales pro he can be at Joe Mockin's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Matt's a self-described country boy who believes the genuine, straightforward approach is always best.
Treating others the way you want to be treated yourself.
Matt Brammer, a unique guy, a different kind of salesman. Just another regular Joe at Joe Mockin's.
The Volkswagen Model Year in Sales event rolls on at Joe Mockin's Volkswagen of Columbia. This is the time to save thousands on most all-new 2016 models in stock. An impressive lineup. Must-drive vehicles like Jetta, Passat, Tiguan, and Touareg. Plus, see the all-new 2017 Golf All-Track. Up to $10,000 off MSRP. $10,000. And we can help anyone. First-time buyers, bankruptcies, even repos and foreclosures. Before you buy, give VW a try. Joe Mockin's Volkswagen, 1200 Benavir Drive. JoeMockinsVW.com.
Now, from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMu 8 Sports.
Hello, everyone. Former Missouri Tiger star Max Scherzer made the start tonight for the Washington Nationals in the fifth and deciding game of the National League Divisional Playoff Series with the Dodgers. Scherzer, a 20-game winner this season, called this start the biggest of his career. Max trying to pitch the Nationals into the NL Championship Series against the Cubs. Huge crowd fired up at Nationals Park at our nation's capital. Second inning, Danny Espinosa hits one to right off Rich Hill. Daniel Murphy rounds third, heads home, and he is safe at the plate. Washington up 1-0. Max breezed through the first 4 innings. Then in inning number 5, ran into a little trouble. Bases loaded, 2 out. The veteran Chase Utley batting, but he hits a grounder up the middle, and Max gets out of the jam. He would go 6 innings, allowing just 1 run, a Jock Peterson home run. He struck out 7, gave up 5 hits, but he will not get a decision in this game. It was tied at 1. When in the 7th, Carlos Ruiz singles to left to drive home a run to make it 2-1. Dodgers tacked on 2 more to make it 4-1. But now Washington's come back with a couple in the 7th, and it's 4-3, Dodgers with a slim lead. The St. Louis Blues made a strong showing in their season opener with a 5-2 win last night over the Blackhawks in Chicago. Tonight, the Blues play their home opener at Scott Trade Center against the Minnesota Wild. The Blues celebrating their 50th year of existence, and they are off to a rip-roaring start in the young season. Look at goaltender Jake Allen make the save right there on Jason Zucker. Another look, Zucker on the breakaway, but Allen says, not now, not here. A few minutes later, the Blues strike Alexander Steen with a bullet into the back of the net. 1-0 in favor of the Notes. Then Minnesota gets on the board. Second period, Ryan Suter steals the puck, shoots, gets his own rebound, and scores. And it's a 1-1 tie in the second period. Later in the second, though, the newest Blue, Niall Yakupov, with his first goal as a member of the team, makes it 2-1 St. Louis after 2. And then in the third, it's Magnus Pajärvi putting it away. 3-1 Blues, and they hold on for a 3-2 victory. They're 2-0 with the New York Rangers visiting St. Louis Saturday night. The Missouri football Tigers visit the 18th-ranked Florida Gators Saturday afternoon at the Swamp in Gainesville. Florida will have Luke Del Rio starting at quarterback. He is the son of Oakland Raiders head coach Jack Del Rio. He missed a couple of games with a knee injury, but is back in the starting lineup for the game against the Tigers.
You know, he's been named the starter at the beginning of the year, so in their minds, and you know, Jim's a really good coach. He's probably the best quarterback. So looking early, you know, especially the Kentucky game, I think they scored 45. He was pretty efficient all day in that game.
So Florida gets set for Mizzou Saturday. It turns out that Florida and LSU will make up their game that was postponed by Hurricane Matthew last weekend. That was originally scheduled to be played in Gainesville. Now it will be played at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge November 19th. LSU has agreed to play next year's game that had been scheduled in Baton Rouge back in Gainesville. So Florida had been slated to play Presbyterian. LSU had been slated to play South Alabama on November 19th, but the schools will exercise exit clauses in the contracts for those non-conference games, and they will meet in what should be a good one. Florida LSU on the 19th of November could be pivotal in the SEC race. In local sports news, make it 3 in a row now for the Rockbridge High School girls tennis team. Rockbridge won its 3rd consecutive state title today in Springfield. The Bruins beat Lee's Summit West 5-0 to claim the Class 2 state crown. So it's yet another championship for longtime Bruin tennis coach Ben Loeb at Hickman High School. At Rockbridge High School, I beg your pardon. Ben used to be at Hickman High School, and we've got Hickman football to tell you about on a Thursday night. It doesn't matter which night the Hoops play. They have struggled this year, losing 47-12 at Liberty North. So Hickman finishes the regular season 1-8. But, of course, everybody makes the district playoffs that begin next week. And Hickman will have at least one more game in what's been a difficult season, certainly for the Cupies. That is sports.
Chris, thank you very much. Denmark's evening skies have been turning black.
Stay tuned to see what's causing all that darkness.
Don't settle for used. Get into new with a big selection on the little bitty lots at Joe Mockins Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Shop our online lot anytime. MockinsCDJR.com. Over 500 new in stock. And during Ram Power Days, we've reloaded with up to 20% off MSRP on select new 2016 models. 20% off. That's unheard of. Mid-Missouri's #1 dealer with lots and lots on lots of lots. Joe Mockins Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 1310 Vandiver and elsewhere. MockinsCDJR.com.
Serious crime is here. That's why the Columbia Police Officers Association and the Fraternal Order of Police endorsed Caleb Rowden for state senate. Rowden has been leading the effort to put more officers on the street to combat this violent crime.
But Stephen Weber's record? Weber voted to allow sex offenders to be within 500 feet of child care centers and playgrounds, and even voted to allow sex offenders to be coaches. We need a stronger leader for a safer community. Caleb Rowden for state senate.
Change has never been more powerful. We're rolling out our capable new lineup during Nissan's Year of the Truck and SUV event. The all-new Armada and Pathfinder, plus the award-winning Murano and our best-selling Rogue with intuitive all-wheel drive. Take on any terrain. Get to Nissan now for big savings and save up to $2,000 on Rogue or save up to $3,750 on the 2016 Pathfinder.
The KOMu 8 iPhone and Android News app is brought to you by University Subaru. Download yours today.
Hi, folks. Jerry O'Neill, Continental Siding Supply. Our business in 2016 has been so incredible that even with 65 factory-trained installers, we're still booking 60 to 90 days out. I know that'll be winter, and when I buy something, I wanted it yesterday. So if you'd be kind enough to wait and be patient with us, I will so make it worth your time. Call now.
I am not voting for corruption as usual.
Big spending liberals.
Or crooked career politicians.
That means you, Chris Koster.
I am not voting for you, Koster. $3.2 million to redecorate your office?
$100 grand on luxury travel?
On our dime.
Koster supports Hillary.
Her taxes?
And her Obamacare expansion.
Not voting for you, Koster.
We're not voting for Chris Koster.
Do we really need another crooked politician?
If you have a fear of birds, be sure to stay away from Denmark this time of the year. Every autumn, hundreds of thousands of starlings make a resting stop in a national park there. In the video, you can see the birds perform aerial ballets and formations that block the view to the sun, which is why they call it black sun. Here's a look at what we're following for KOMu 8 News today. Columbia plans to join 2 plots of land together, has some residents concerned for the neighborhood's character.
Plus, a film about a Missouri painter and a politician makes a world premiere this weekend. Kenton.
Well, temperatures here the rest of the night will slowly cool down, just a few more degrees. We're down to about 45 by sunrise tomorrow morning, eventually 68 by the afternoon, and we're going to be breezy on Saturday, but much warmer with gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Temperatures will be in the 80s there on Saturday and 84 on Sunday, 86 by Monday, and then a slow cool down throughout the rest of next week. So you can see just a roller coaster from tomorrow going all the way up to Monday and then all the way back down.
86? That's That's warm.
Oh, yeah. Especially considering our average was 76 by then.
Yeah.
Or 66 by then.
Yeah. That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night.
On air, online, on Facebook, on Twitter.